This is a CBS2 News update. I'm Mary Calvi. Developing this morning, a second person has died after a gunman opened fire outside a row of restaurants in Toronto. Witnesses capture some of the gunfire that hit a total of 14 people last night in Toronto's Greektown neighborhood. They say the alleged shooter began spraying bullets from a sidewalk and at one point fired into a restaurant. Police confronted him, exchanging gunfire. When it was all over, the shooter was shot dead.
I thought it was fireworks at first because it was a rapid fire, and then there'd be a pause and some more fire. We didn't know what it was. We saw people starting to run.
When you have this many people that are struck by gunfire, it's a grave concern. I certainly want to find out exactly what it is, and so I'm not closing any doors or any chapters on this, and I certainly don't want to speculate as well.
Investigators are still working to determine a motive. They say it's too early to determine whether this is terror-related. A commuter alert, Long Island Railroad riders are still suffering delays because of a weekend derailment. Take a look at this picture of that derailed train causing the schedule changes and delays. This comes as scheduled summer repair work also begins. CBS 2's Jenna DeAngelis reports from the Jamaica train station in Queens.
The morning rush may be a bit more of a rush today for travelers. At least 8 Long Island Railroad trains will not be running this morning as the MTA works to repair tracks damaged this weekend. The MTA says a train was passing through the West Side Yard Saturday night when 2 middle cars derailed. The cause is unclear. The MTA says it's investigating. Commuters say they were never notified.
They always like to speak of transparency, and yet there never seems to be sufficient transparency.
Even when they get delayed or anything, they never mention it.
Just before 10 Sunday night, the MTA told CBS2 the derailment would cancel or cause changes to several morning trains. These are the 6 lines impacted: Babylon, Hempstead, Port Washington, Ronkonkoma, Far Rockaway, and Oyster Bay. Meanwhile, 7 lines were already scheduled to have changes this morning as new summer timetables take effect.
It looks like it's going to cost the taxpayers a lot of money.
Commuters we spoke with Sunday were experiencing problems, but it's unclear why.
I saw people and they were scrambling looking for the train, and there was no train there today in Port. There was a bus. I can't believe that there was no communication.
We're told this will also impact the evening commute. On top of that, you can expect changes today for new summer schedules, and you can find all of those schedules on CBSNewYork.com. In Jamaica, Queens, Jenna DeAngelis, CBS 2 News.
Some people are getting to return to their buildings after the steam pipe explosion. Manhattan's Flatiron District, 5th Avenue near the blast site also reopened to buses this morning. Crews have been spraying the facades of buildings to wash off any asbestos. The work is part of the cleanup after the pipe ruptured Thursday morning. As of this morning, 9 buildings have been declared safe, but more than 40 buildings were evacuated, placing hundreds of people. Con Edison is compensating households $500.
In New York, $500 doesn't go very far, but I appreciate $500.
Mayor de Blasio spokesperson tweeted the mayor agrees that $500 will likely not be good enough. We'll be pushing Con Ed to up that payment. Con Ed responded to the tweet by saying the $500 doesn't preclude anyone from submitting a claim for other related expenses. 2 community briefings will be held tonight at the Clinton School. And just in, the Daily News will be losing half of their newsroom. Trunk, the company that owns the Daily News, said in a company email today it will be cutting half of the newsroom staff. This comes less than a year after Trunk acquired the paper. In an email sent to staff today, Trunk said the paper will focus on breaking news involving crime, civil justice, and public responsibility. And now let's get to your forecast. Here's John Elliott.
I'll tell you what, Mary, it has been a wet morning, but if you look real closely, there's a bit of brightening going on for parts of the city. Now, there's some light rain in the park. 74, winds are calm, predominant wind, though, again, out of the south-southeast, so it's a humid air mass, and that's also stirring up the rip current risk. That's high for all our beaches. They just trimmed one of the flood advisories in northern New Jersey, but into parts of the Hudson Valley, this flood advisory now in effect until 1:30, and here's why. We're in this situation where you have training rain or rain over the same area. These individual showers and, pockets of heavy rain riding from south to north. So what happens when you have these 2 systems that won't budge? that's the setup for some flooding. Now we're seeing a break for more of the area. Welcome to break, because the overall pattern doesn't change that much, and that's why we're concerned about additional rain. How much rain? Well, I'll tell you what, even with a day off tomorrow with not a whole lot of rain, boy, if it turns busy Wednesday, by Wednesday night, we could add 2 or more inches of rain in the mix. And wait, there's more. I mean, this sounds so dire. It's not nonstop, but you've got showers today, passing shower tomorrow, more coverage for more of the area on Wednesday, and then still about a 40% chance Thursday and Friday. I have to go hide now, Mary. Back
You
to
better. All right, John. Happening today, Governor Cuomo heads to Puerto Rico for the 5th time since Hurricane Maria devastated the island. He'll be joined by university students, labor leaders, and elected officials who will help out with rebuilding projects. And Lin-Manuel Miranda was in Puerto Rico over the weekend, announcing that he has helped to create a multi-million-dollar arts fund for the island. The Hamilton creator said he hopes the fund will grow to $15 million in the years ahead. He says he's donating all funds from the performances of Hamilton that will take place on the island starting in January. We've all heard that sometimes you just need to put yourself in someone else's shoes. That concept is being used right here in New York City to help bridge the gap between police and some of the people they protect. CBS 2's Roxana Saberi explains.
Everybody has the scooters. I'm on one.
I was in the info treatment, and I was a foot soldier. So
I have a best friend, and her and I have been friends for like 2 years.
So, in excruciating pain and how dramatic I am, I yelled.
One afternoon at University Heights High School in the South Bronx, students and police officers swapped lives. The idea is to bridge a divide beyond the classroom.
Most of us actually grew up to where you grew up, so we actually have more in common than you think.
Because on the streets of one of New York City's most dangerous precincts, many kids long for protection but don't trust the police.
If I walk across like a street or something and I see them, I'll just go the other way because...
Junior Aminata Kargbo says she usually keeps her distance from the NYPD.
Because of the way they're perceived on TV, I feel a little bit afraid of them.
What are you expecting out today?
I want to get a new perception of them.
Julia, nice to meet you.
The New York-based group Narrative 4 has organized dozens of gatherings like this one across the U.S. and abroad to get people who normally never interact to pair off and tell stories that define them.
So this was my first time kayaking.
And then when I got inside the house, my parents were just lecturing me.
I was graduating high school, and I enlisted in the Army.
After I get off the phone with my dad.
When the group reconvenes, each person has to recount their partner's story as if it were their own to build trust and empathy.
So my name is Aminata. I want to tell you the story about me versus nature.
Hi, my name is Erica. I'm a police officer.
How many of you think that this exercise helped break down barriers? How?
It's not the police and then it's us, but we all come from the same place.
It helped us see them as, like, you know, who they are out of the uniform.
So she's not just officer.
Erica, yeah, she's Erica. She's a human being.
It seems like you guys connected. Is that enough?
No, I think we have to keep doing this and actually connecting with other students.
Sharing stories, they say, is just the first step in writing a new chapter together. Roxana Saberi, CBS News.
It's the best of both worlds for foodies with an appetite for saving. New York City Restaurant Week begins today. More than 380 restaurants in all 5 boroughs are participating in the dining experience. You can get a 2-course prefix lunch for $26 or a 3-course prefix dinner for $42. Restaurant Week runs from today through August 17th. We have more information on CBSNewYork.com. A couple of local customers at a Wendy's in Louisiana don't need to worry about finding a table after 10 years of eating at the restaurant, sometimes 5 days a week. They now have a reserved spot. A sign over their favorite table reads, "Reserved for Don and Sandy." Management surprised Don and Sandy with the designation after they had to close down for 3 weeks to renovate, and Sandy had said she was worried about losing her favorite table.
They reserve a spot for us in their day every day, so we felt like we should reserve a spot in our dining room to kind of show our appreciation.
I was just teasing with him, never dreaming that he would actually do that.
The sign seems to be working. Don and Sandy say they sometimes pass by and look in and never see anyone sitting at their table. And that's your CBS 2 News Update. I'm Mary Calvi. Join us in just a moment for a live Facebook After Show.